Hello, Year 10. Welcome for today's lesson. What we're looking at today is quadratic equations. Now, quadratic just means that you have polynomial squared as your highest power. Okay, so a normal equation like 3x plus 1 equals 5, we call that a linear equation because the power of x is just power of 1. A quadratic equation is when your power is the power of 2. Now, in a linear equation, we usually get one solution, okay, one answer that works. In a quadratic equation, we often have to account for two solutions. So in this example here, x squared equals 9. What we're asking is what number, when we square it, equals 9, okay? Now, we know that 3 squared, okay, 3 times 3 is going to be 9, but also minus 3 squared, because minus 3 times minus 3 equals positive 9 as well. So when we square root both sides of this equation, we actually have to remember to include a plus or minus symbol to account for the two different solutions that are in the equation. Okay, so remember at the stage that you square root is the stage where you introduce the plus or minus ambiguity, where you actually have two solutions that can be possible. Now, what we need to do now is we need to recognize that this works even if the number on the other side of the equation isn't a perfect square. Okay, so if I have this example a here, when I square root both sides, okay, and I get the square root of 10, I have to remember to put a plus or minus in front of that square root. Okay, so the square root of 10 can be positive or negative in the same way. So we need to remember the plus or minus. Likewise, x equals plus or minus the square root of 43 will give us the answer to this equation here. Now, when we're doing equations, we want to work in reverse order of operations, so reverse BIDMAS. And if we remember BIDMAS like this, we have subtraction, addition, multiplication, division, and here we have indices. Okay, but square roots also lie in this space here. So when it comes to reverse order, we want to do any addition or subtraction, any multiplication or division before we do the square root. So in this case here, we're going to divide by 5 first. Okay, so divide 80 by 5, we get 16. And then we can square root both sides. And at this stage, when you square root, the plus or minus comes in. Okay, we get plus or minus 4. Okay, for b, I divide both sides by 3 and I get 25. And then I square root and I get plus or minus 5 as my answer. Okay, a few more examples here. I'm going to first divide by 9. Okay. And then when I square, sorry, it should be x squared here. When I square root both sides, I just square root the top and the bottom. Okay, so the square root of 25 is 5. The square root of 9 is 3. And then I just put a plus or minus in front of that fraction. Okay, I don't need to put a plus or minus on the top and the bottom because I still end up with plus or minus for the total fraction. So we just square root top, square root bottom, and then put the plus or minus out the front. Okay, for b, okay, divide by 81, we get 49 over 81, and then I square root top, which is 7, square root bottom, which is 9, and then put the plus or minus out the front, we get plus or minus 7/9. Okay, use your calculator if you don't remember all your perfect squares, okay, so just square root top and bottom, and then put the plus or minus at the front. Your calculator won't put the plus or minus, you need to remember that part. Okay, last things here. Okay, we do 21 divided by 3, we get 7. And then we square root both sides. Let me get rid of that. We get plus or minus 7. Okay. This time we're going to get 12 on 5. And then we square root both sides. We get plus or minus the square root of 12 on the square root of 5. Okay, we can't simplify those ones, so we just leave it like that. Okay, good luck with the work today. I'll see you later.